So the fire in LAs that have been going on at the moment have been some of the worst fires that Los Angeles has seen. I mean, all the videos that I have seen that have come out through Twitter over the last few days have been absolutely devastating. I mean, I live here in Victoria, and if you know anything about Australia, we have had our fair share of wildfires in the past, but damn, some of the images and some of the videos that I have seen come out of Los Angeles have been absolutely devastating, have been incredibly, just mind-blowing of how bad some of these have been. But with all of these wildfires going on, there has also been a lot of criticism when it comes to the governor of California and also the mayor of Los Angeles in terms of what they have done in the past to kind of set up to prevent something like this to happen. Because obviously, to a certain extent, when there are wildfires, yes, a lot of it is it's kind of uncontrollable. You know, when it comes to natural disasters, to a certain extent, there is you know what? There's nothing really that we could have done. It's more of just it happened. When it comes to natural disasters, it's more of you just have to put your hands up and go, well, there's really nothing that we can do about it. But when it comes to fires, I feel like out of all the natural disasters, there is definitely a lot of things that you could have done in the past to prevent it. And also when things do get out of control as well, to try and minimize it and to try and get rid of it and to try and, prevent it from getting worse than it is as soon as possible. And when it comes to this, there has been a lot of criticism towards the government, and I think some of it is actually fairly understandable. Now, we're going to look at several parts of when it comes to this, mainly two parts of when it comes to the things that and the question marks that have been going around when it comes to both the governor and the LA of both California and Los Angeles. But first, we're going to look at the budget of each of these. So first, we're going to have a look at the budget of California itself. So they have a total budget of $298 billion. That is a lot of money. There's a total state funds that they have. And then if we go further into this state budget as well, and we look into natural resources, we can see right here that it's split up on this pie chart, with the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection taking 35.5% of the natural resources, which takes up, out of all the state budget, it only takes up 3% of the entire state budget. And if we go ahead and look at the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, we can go ahead and we can see that fire protection right here. Now it says 3.7 million, but it's actually dollars in thousands. So that turns out to be $3.7 billion within fire protection for just the state of California, which if you go ahead and you look at this, considering that the state of California has gone ahead and put $3.7 billion into so-called fire protection, it does really make you question of where this money really has gone. Because if they have looked into and they have put this much money into fire protection, it does really make you question of what they actually did of when it comes to so-called fire protection. And as you can see as well on this state budget, it says Board of Forestry and Fire Protection, which I'm guessing is the budget that's put towards paying the people that are within this department, at least from what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, is because it says the Board of Forestry, and that has a budget of $6 million in itself. So it does make you question, well, almost $7 million, because it's $6.8 million. So it does make you question of where all that money is going, considering that there's $3.7 billion within fire protection, and then the Board of Forestry and Fire Protection itself is getting almost $7 million. It does really make a question of, just because of the severity that these fires have gotten, and they have started in the forest. That's where majority of these fires have all come from. They've all come from the forests that surround Los Angeles themselves. And now if we go into the budget of just the city of Los Angeles, we can see right here that the expense budget is $12.9 billion, with the fire itself having $819 million. Now, the one big criticism that this has had is that they actually cut the budget. So this right here is the 2025 budget that was approved a few weeks ago before the start of 2025. Well, they actually cut a decent amount of this budget. So they went from $837 million in 2024 all the way down to $819 million. Now, you might be like, in perspective, considering that it went from 837 million to 819, in perspective, that's not really that bad. But you know what? $17 million to cut from fire. I mean, I really think that that's not really a great way. If anything, fire is really one of those things that you should be increasing, or at least maintaining is the same. It really should not be something in your budget that you go ahead and cut. And if we look into the budget itself of fire, we can look right here and see that out of all of this money, majority of it is being put towards fire suppression, with $398 million within this fire suppression, and also within fire prevention as well. They've put $41 million and then $32 million into training. And it really makes you question, because of the severity. Like I said, when it comes to natural disasters, there is a certain extent where it's kind of just like, hey, there's really nothing that we can do. Like, if you're standing in a city that's prone to tsunamis and there's like a fucking 100-foot tall tsunami, you kind of just have to stand there and go, well, there's nothing that we can do about this. But obviously, when it comes to fires, there is definitely something that you can do. There is so many different things that we do here in Australia, and especially in Victoria, that, like I said, that is very prone to fires. One thing being backburning. If you don't know what backburning is, essentially what you do is that whenever there's like certain fields or certain forestry that is very prone to catching on fire, say it's like a lot of dead shrubs or dry shrubs, because when it comes to like what is very prone to catching on fire and what's very prone to like spreading fire is dead shrubs. So when it comes to like very, very dry forest land or very, very dry fields, that is what spreads fires even more. Because if you have a forestry that is extremely wet, then it's not really going to spread those fires as much as something that is extremely dry. So what we do here in Victoria is that we burn those fields in a protected way. So our fire department will go out during times of when fire is like very on high alert, burn those fields in order to like kill any type of dry shrubs that could go ahead and spread these fires even more. So I don't know what they're doing in terms of doing something like that when it comes to, reducing the risk of spreading these fires, because considering how fast these fires have spread and how far they have spread, especially within 2 days. Like, I remember looking at this like 2-3 days ago when it had just like first started. Within 24 hours, it escalated from just like a few fires to like almost like a whole entire statewide natural disaster. Like, it went from something this small to something this big within 24 hours. And I've never seen something like that before. And now it's not just the budget that has been under major criticism of when it comes to, the prevention of these fires. Another big criticism is the water that's been distributed in California as well. I did not know this myself until these fires actually started, is that the state of California, well, mainly Los Angeles, because I think it's when it's come to San Francisco, their waterways and the water that they get, considering, that like massive rivers flow through the city of San Francisco, they're quite fine when it comes to that. But Los Angeles themselves have been devastated of when it comes to major water cuts. And right now, during this fire, apparently at multiple times, they have actually been running out of water in order to put these fires out. And you might be asking, like, what the hell? Like, why is it that Los Angeles is running out of water? Well, apparently there's been several over like the last couple hundred years, well, mainly in the last like 100 years, really during like the 1900s, is that a lot of the lakes that were like natural lakes that were within Los Angeles, they were actually drained out and dried out, not due to like, natural occurrences, but actually due to the way like man-made things. And this isn't just like a climate change thing, obviously I've seen a lot of debate on Twitter of whether this climate change is the thing that's actually causing this, or it's this or it's that. But one thing that it's very prone, and one thing that humans have done over the last like 100 years is actually cut off the waterways from like the top, from like Canada. So there's like this massive waterway that flows from Canada all the way down through California, and it's actually been cut off around San Francisco. I know Donald Trump came out on Truth Social and he made this tweet criticizing Governor Gavin Newsom, talking about to sign the Water Restoration Declaration, because that is what, like, to restore the flow of water through California. But he actually refused to sign that, which is what's causing this water prevention and this lack of water through the city of Los Angeles, which is quite ridiculous. Like, it's caused major lakes in the past to dry out. Like, this was a lake from last year of, I don't know, well, actually almost a couple years ago now. Like, remember when Los Angeles and California had like those massive floodings? Well, the massive floods actually caused one of the big lakes within like the Los Angeles region to come back to life, and then seemingly a year later, because there's no flow to that, it just once again dried up and disappeared. So as much as yes, when it comes to natural disasters, 100%, I feel like there is a certain extent where it's just kind of out of control. Like I said, you see a 100-meter tall tsunami, you just kind of have to stand there and go, well, we're kind of fucked now. Or when there's a massive earthquake, there's really nothing that you can do about it. But there's also certain things that you can do to help prevent the severity that these natural disasters have gone through. Like I said, we've copped many fires, and I'm using this as a great example because we've been very prone to fires here in Australia. Extremely prone. I mean, back in 2020, we had major fires where almost our whole entire country was set on fire. But we did things to help minimize and prevent them from getting close to cities. Like, this is literally on the brink of burning the whole entire California, like the whole entire city of Los Angeles down. And there could have been so many better things that they could have done to prevent this. And like, even though, yes, they've put a lot of money into this so-called fire protection, from what I've seen online when it comes to looking up the budget of both the state of California and also the city of Los Angeles. But really, it makes you question of where this money has gone towards, because the extent that these fires have gone out of control, it doesn't look like they've put any money and anything to do to help suppress and prevent these fires. And then also the cut of flow of water through the city of Los Angeles and through California, making it even more of a drier state than it has been previously, is something that's considerably like caused these fires to get even worse and stopped the city itself from like putting these fires out and letting them spread and making them spread as much as they have. But I would definitely like to hear what you guys think about all this down below. I definitely think that this is a conversation to have. And I honestly think that with how bad this has gotten out of control and the ridicule that both the governor of California and also the mayor of Los Angeles has been facing over the last 2 to 3 days, I can really see a lot of people calling for their jobs after all this passes over, because obviously they're not going to, step down or get fired or whatever it may be, or people call for their jobs immediately while this is all going on. Obviously, you want it to pass over first, but I definitely see once it's passing over that their jobs are definitely going to be called for, and I could 100% see both of them standing down after this. But yeah, it's really bad, and my heart goes out to everyone that's been affected by these fires within Los Angeles, and also my hat goes off to every single person that is a firefighter that is fighting these fires themselves. You yourselves, you guys do God's work. That's definitely for sure. You know, being a firefighter is not an easy job, especially during a time of natural disaster like this. So my hats go off to those that are serving within the fire department, and my hearts go out to all the families that have lost their houses, and possibly, I don't know if there's actually been if there is a death toll at the moment, but my heart goes out to everyone affected by these fires right now. But that is going to be from me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.